Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Well. Good morning. Top of the morning. We're coming from sunny California. Yes, it's sunny out here. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour, and I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live, folks, with nothing but straight talk, 'cause that's how we do it around here. Nothing but straight talk. We have a great show for you today. We have a great guest for you today, and we're going to give some great information today. So it's not too late. Call your friends. I'm telling you, this is the show they need to listen to. We're during a time when people just don't know which way to go, have forgotten about their purpose while they were here. That's why they're so confused. When you don't know where you're going, you're lost, okay? And when you're not on your purpose, you are lost, and you cannot function to full capacity. But we are going to talk about picking them dreams up, waking them dry bones up and getting them walking again. That's what we are going to talk about. And I am the host, but my guest. Well, let me tell you what we're going to talk about first, and then I will introduce my guest. Our topic today is Buried Alive, the dream you gave up on and how to bring them back. Yeah, that's right. I know you want to know how to bring those dreams back. Yes, you can bring them back. So we're going to take a close look at real dream killers. Who are those dream killers? Is it you? Did you kill your own dream, or did somebody else do it? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the lies that have been told to you. It's too late. You're too old. You missed your chance. It's your kids' time now. Give me a break. My time is never in until God calls me home. And when I get there, guess what? My daughter said, Mama, every place you go, everybody else is leaving. You still washing dishes behind, helping at the reception. She said, when you get to heaven, I can see you now. Jesus, anything I can do? Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. But I'm just a helper. We're going to give you some steps to resurrect those dreams, to resurrect and bring them back live. My guest today is Miss Gloria Bradley. Folks, she's a certified coach, speaker, teacher, trainer, a member of John Maxwell team. Now, that's big right there. She's in real estate. She does, in other words, she's doing everything that God has assigned her to do. Welcome, Miss Bradley. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful. And yes, it is beautiful here in California. So thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And just like you said, let's raise up them dry bones.
Absolutely. Some of you listening right now are walking around alive. You're walking around alive, but your dreams are dead. Les Brown called that dead men walking. He said some people been dead for years. They just didn't get buried until they were 65. Hello, somebody. He said they've been dead since in their 20s. They just didn't get buried until they were 65. You are burying your dreams, it's not because you don't have talent. It's not because you didn't have the opportunity, but because somewhere along the way, fear showed up. Disappointment showed up. Rejection showed up. And you buried your dream because of fear. Somebody told you that you couldn't do it. Somebody told you weren't supposed to do it. Somebody told you lived on the wrong side of town.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told you that you had the wrong color. Somebody told you too short, too tall, too short, too black, too political. Just the twos. The tools stop people from doing what they're trying to do. So today, we want you to walk away knowing your purpose, picking up your dream. It's never, ever too late. Your dream does not have an expiration date. You know, when God gave you an assignment, there's no expiration date. People tell you, you know, sometimes you may wear a particular outfit and somebody say, well, that's not for anyone your age. I've never seen a pattern with an age on it. I'm just saying, whatever you need to do, folks, it's time to pick it up, dust it off, and run. Because guess what? You will never, ever be happy unless you're walking in your purpose. You may have a degree. You could be teaching school. You may be a physician. I don't care what position you're holding. But I guarantee you, your happiness will begin when you start doing what you were called here to do. So let's go right into my guest. And I want to know this beautiful young lady. She wrote a book. You can see it behind her, How to Revive Your Dreams. And I'm sure a lot of you on this line is looking back and thinking, am I on purpose? Am I doing what I was called to do? I did a seminar once called Erase No, Step Over Can. And Gloria, I posted on one side of the wall, we posted whole walls with the word sticker no. On the other side, yes. I asked people there, I said, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to think about where you are right now, whatever you're doing. Is it your dream? Just meditate on it. And when I finished, and the people opened their eyes, there were people in that audience, tears were streaming down their face. It was so emotional. They said, I never wanted to be a teacher, but my mother wanted to be the one because she was a teacher. So I've been doing this 20 years. It was not happy. Mm-hmm. There were those who said, playing ball was what I wanted. But in other words, the question today, are you on your own agenda? Are you a doctor because it sounds good? Because it makes a lot of money? Because it's prestigious? Why are you doing what you're doing? What are your dreams? Gloria, tell us what motivated you to do this book.
Well, thank you. What motivated me, you know, for many, many years, I have been not only just motivating people, but I really started looking at myself. I believe that as God calls you to do something in that time and season to do it. So owning a photography business at one time, a jewelry business, also, I attempted at one time to be a realtor, and I got into fear. I felt that I was intimidated by the process. And so I buried that dream. And I remember also when I was trying to be a travel agent, and I felt intimidated. It was the people I was dealing with, and all of this was happening in the 90s, and I ended up burying that dream. I remember back in 2008 when I had to pull out an escrow in 2007, you know, on a property. I buried that dream of home ownership. But you know what? Some things need to be buried. So I'm so glad that one got buried, because the next year, you know, the real estate market crashed, right? You know, but it was still a dream that was buried. And so, and even after going through a divorce, going through domestic violence in back in the 80s as well, you know, a lot of things has happened in my life that started making me to bury dreams. And so I remember hearing from a great man, Dr. Miles Monroe, and talking about how dreams are buried. And I thought about that so much, being going through the graveyard. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want my dreams to be buried. I want to do, you know, what God has called me to do. And sometimes there's a delay, there's a decision, because also too, a lot of times we look at our own disabilities. I was prophesied in 1990s that I was going to write a book. And I sat there when I heard the prophecy, and in my own mind, I was like, okay, he's prophet lying, because I hadn't gone to college. I was struggling with even just spelling words and stuff. And so a lot of times we look into our own disabilities. We look into the things that our education that we don't have that can cause us to bury our dreams. And so after that, that's what made me write this book. After going through so much, it was like, who else is going through this? There has to be so many other people that are going through this.
That's just walking, doing whatever, playing happy, pretending. It was a song once called Great Pretenders. Pretending that I am doing fine. Do you realize that fits a lot of people? They're not happy. That's why I tell people when they start talking about, they look in money as the motivation. I want to do this because they make a lot of money. But is money the thing that's going to bring you the greatest joy? I mean, we all need money. But to take a profession based on the salary, something you have to do 40 hours a week that you don't like, can you imagine that? A lot of people are locked into that. They have the money, but they are very unhappy. Some of them drown themselves in drugs because they're making the money, but they're not happy. They drown themselves in alcohol because they may be making money, but they're not happy. So the question today is, are your dreams alive? What will it take for you to resurrect your dream? I know what you've been told. I know that they're lies, but let's look at some of the dream killers.
Mm-hmm.
Is it did you kill your own dream? Because you thought, see, sometimes we get in other people's head. We call that projection. How you project your thoughts about what I feel about you onto me, and I haven't even thought of that about you. But you thinking that's what I'm thinking about you. I've heard people say, well, I didn't do this because I didn't think my family believed I could do it or believed in me. It's not about what they believe. It's about what you believe. And it's about who you trust. I have to add that in there. It's about who you believe and who you trust, who you're going to listen to. So that's what it's really about. Some of the dream killers, I would say, Gloria, fear of failure. That's probably one of the greatest ones. What you think?
I totally agree with you, Doctor, and that's what a lot that I went through. But one of the things that I learned in my chapter 3 of how to revive your dreams have been buried 6 feet is I talk about spiritual distancing. And because God is not a God of fear. And a lot of times we try to do things without God in our life. And so when we bring back, when we really start building that relationship with God. Now I said relationship, not just, oh, okay, I know God, but are you really believing? Because when you build faith, in my chapter, Dream Faith, Intentional Faith, when you're being intentional about your faith and you're not allowing your faith to waver, the Bible talks about how the waves, oh, when everything is going great, I'm praising God, hallelujah, and then when something happens, right, because things happen, okay, when I walk through the valley of shadow of death, no, we're going to walk through some valleys, but are you going to be faithful? A lot of times disappointments, maybe it's bad relationships. A lot of people are comparing themselves with other people. The Joneses are broke, okay? A lot of times people trying to keep up with the Joneses. Well, they broke, okay? Stop comparing yourself to other people. Focus on what God have for you. A lot of times it's financial. A lot of times when people talk about, and this is a lot of my experience of teaching classes for Dave Ramsey, I had clients in my class who graduated a week before COVID, became debt-free because of the changing of your mindset. That's what dream thinking is. when I talk about it. It's like the mindset. What is your mindset? What are you feeding? Are you evaluating? You know about finances, right, doctor? So are you looking at the financials, the pressure in our life? Recently, in actually the last 2 years, I almost dropped dead. I could not breathe. Talk about cannot breathe. I was at a property trying to show my clients, and we have masks on, right? And I'm like, okay, Jesus, I know it ain't my time to grow. So I'm trying to be all cool and it's like, okay, I got my breath back, and I showed the property, right? Trying to show the property. But after that, I went into the hospital. I could not breathe. And once I found out that they found these blood clots, but here's the thing, doctor. When I got to the triage, I never thought I would be on oxygen tank, and I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, wait a minute. Wait a minute, God, you said I was going to write a book. You said I was going to do that, so I know it's not my time, so why you got me up in here? And so I started praying for everybody. The chaplain came in. I had my worship music. I was praying for the nurses. I was like, there's a purpose here. Okay. I'm not going to focus on the circumstances. I'm going to praise God and hallelujah. Anyhow, in the midst of this trial, in the midst of this pressure, in the midst of all that I'm going through. And so
you had something to do, right?
Yes.
I tell people, Gloria, when people are diagnosed with cancer, whatever, I always tell them, you have to have something bigger than cancer to live for.
Yes.
Purpose is what drives you. Purpose is what you eat off of, what feeds you, what keeps you going. And if you do not have purpose, I don't care how you may be dressed up, looking good, smelling good, but if you would be honest with yourself, you are not feeling the joy in life that you need to feel. So you got to have purpose. You got to know that it's something for you to do. And you have to ask God, what is that? But there are a lot of people, dreams are buried because there are people who are afraid of success. Did you know that?
Yes.
There are people, their dreams are buried. One of their dream killers is they're afraid of success. Well, I don't want to get too big because people come after me. I don't want to get too big because people, they'll be talking about me. People will be asking me to help them. That's a good thing. If you're big enough to help people, that should not be something to kill your dream. Family disencouragement, that's a big killer right there. Folks, Let me tell you something. People can't see you being what they can't see themselves doing. Think about it. Mm-hmm. If they can't see themselves digging out a ditch, you think they're going to see you getting out? No. They can't see more for you than what they can see for themselves. That's why you have to know what your dreams are. Know what your purpose.
And doctor, that's why you can't tell everybody your dream. You think about Joseph, right? God gave him all them dreams. He was telling his brothers was already, jealous that he had the beautiful coat. And some people, you can't tell your dreams. Just like you were saying, they can't see it for themselves. And so you got to also protect yourself. You got to protect yourself in the midst of trying to revive your dream. And then looking, as Michael Jackson said, the man in the mirror.
Right.
We got to really look at ourselves and really look at what do we need help with? Who can I talk to? Who's those key people? And that's one thing about, my book. It's not just a book. It's a manual and it's a journal. And it's a book about action, and I talk about, one word I said is the time is now. Because if not now, when? A lot of times we have excuses, right?
Yeah, that's full of that. Full of that excuses. But you have to really think about, a lot of people say, if you tell people your dream because you got dream crutches. But I'm just the opposite because I like to prove things to people. When they tell me, see, some people get disencouraged. When you tell me I can't, oh, you just don't know. You just gave me a ladder, Williams. When you tell me I can't, you just gave me a step. You said, what? I can't? Let me show you. I'm like the people from Missouri. Let me show you, baby. But there are people who feel if I tell you I'm going to do something, don't do it. You see me as a failure. That's not a failure. Because that may have been what it took you to fall here so you could gain the strength to be able to deal with this bigger thing that you have in life. So if you don't mind, Gloria, I'm sure with the listeners on, many times they want to chime in. I'm sure there's somebody out there or you know somebody who had big dreams or small dreams, but something stopped them. That's why I tell people about that book. You better tell your story now. Because one thing for sure, you sure can't tell it from the grave. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna pause. You know, if you're out there, open your mic. You have a question. You want to make a comment. You yourself may have buried your own dream. You yourself may need to resurrect because people tell you the economy is too hard. I don't know why you're trying to open up a bookstore. Ain't nobody reading. I don't know why you selling herbs because everywhere you go, even in the pharmacy, that's what they told us. In the supermarket, you got all these multi-level people, they selling herbs. Why you want to do that? Why you want to write a book? Black folks ain't reading. How many of you heard that? Mm-hmm. Killing your dreams. Killing your dream. So, if you have a comment, you're out there, open your mic or call in. Let us hear from you. Did anybody step on your dream? Is there something you trying to dig out of it? Somebody said, girl, I don't know why you're doing that. It don't make sense. You're too old. It's not your time. It's too late. How old was Colonel Sanders when he started his business? Kentucky Fried Chicken. Think he was about 65 years old.
Yeah.
And can you imagine the first person who had the first McDonald's? Can you imagine what they probably told? Ain't nobody gonna buy them burgers. Wow. They're all over the world now. Folks, we talking about dreamers. Mm-hmm. Chime in. I know somebody out there.
Yeah,
got big dreams.
I see on the Zoom in my book, chapter 2, it talks about a woman named Michelle Smith. Michelle, do you want to come on in and, and share? A lot of times people need help. That's why dream coaches, mentors, and it's a lot of times just somebody to give somebody a helping hand. Somebody is there to help a person who has a dream that needs help. And that's Michelle's testimony. But Michelle, you want to come on? Because also Michelle just got a new heart, so she got a whole lot of testimonies, but she shares about her testimony. Michelle, are you able to come on?
Yeah, just unmute yourself and jump in, Michelle. It's so important, folks, to resurrect your dreams. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm blessed. Thank you. How are you?
We're good. Talk to us, Michelle.
Well, years ago, I always desired, especially when I was in high school, I always had a desire to be a writer. And I took, in high school, I took what you call a creative writing class. And one of the teachers just thought, hey, you're a very good writer. And so she introduced me to another teacher. And I think the teacher, I wrote this story. The time when I was in Boston, my mom had my baby sister. And I described everything, and they said, no, you couldn't have written this. Like, why not? So the teacher wanted a meeting with my mom about the essay, whatever it was, the story, short story. My mother made it clear that story is correct. I snuck by myself at 11 years old to see my mom at the hospital. And the way I was describing it, the teacher didn't believe it. And the teacher apologized to me and my mother. But as years go by, I still had the desire to write. And it didn't happen until after I graduated from high school. It was some place I went to looking for work or something. When this, man, I'm going to say white, he said, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I said, I want to be a writer. I want to write stories. Oh, that's impossible because you have to go to school to get a degree. Like, okay, a couple years passed. I ended up getting married, had children, and I was working at the post office. And then after that, I lost my job, whatever. Then I bumped into Gloria Bradley at a concert. It was a Kurt Franklin concert. All the gospel artists there. And after the show, Gloria and a friend of ours had met up for lunch. And Gloria asked me, so Michelle, what do you do for a living? I'm like, oh, great. And I mentioned, hey, I worked at the post office. But I have a desire to be a writer, to write, plays. And then she said, well, what's holding you back? And I said, oh, of course. I had these excuses. Well, I'm a single mother and I have all these kids and I just don't have time. So she challenged me. She said, I have this ministry, it's a single ministry, and I want you to write a short play for it. I'm like, oh, wow. Like, she's really challenging me. And I'm like, okay. So I came up with this story called But He's Fine. It's about a Christian girl who's dating a man who is not saved. And everyone actually thought it was real, but it was a short play. They even, after the end, because he was so good looking, it's like, come on, but he's fine. Doesn't matter about his relationship with God, but he's fine, But the
So
word,
Michelle, let
yes,
me
ma'am.
ask you let me ask you
Yes,
this. So you have wanted to write for years. That was
yes,
a dream of yours, right?
yes, it was
You laid it aside for many different reasons. Somebody say you couldn't do it.
correct,
You were thinking in your mind, I don't have the time. We
correct.
lay in the framework. These are all the things that kills our dreams. I
That's
don't
it.
have the time. If someone wrote a book called So You're Busy, and it said, doing what? Doing what? That is the question. So
Wow.
what Michelle is sharing with us, that she laid her dream aside, but she picked it up. And so today you are a writer, right?
Yes, I am professional,
Okay.
award winning.
All right, all right,
Yeah,
folks.
after that,
That's
she got awards for her writing so forth. So yeah,
so there's somebody
amen.
else out there I know have just laid your dream aside. If there's something you wanted to do and you realize in 2026, I don't care what mama say, I don't care what the teachers
Amen.
say, because
Right.
they can discourage you. You have
Yes.
to be able to live your dreams. So if there's
Amen.
someone else want to jump in and tell us about,
Praise
I
God.
know AI chick, she's going somewhere with her stuff. And I'm just wondering, Tiffany,
Amen.
with you on this road, teaching AI, doing what you're doing, I bet somebody told you you couldn't do it. Oh, they ain't black folks don't want to do that. They not going to learn that. You can't make a living doing that. Folks, today is about waking up your dream, doing what you want to do, taking back your life. You know, business failure, that's information. That's not a funeral. That's not a funeral. Relationships ended. That's redirection. That's all. He gone, she gone. You just gonna redirect. Stop putting a period where it should not go. Stop
Amen.
putting a period. You may question. You may pause with a comma. You can use an exclamation mark, but stop putting a period where it doesn't belong. Okay, we're
Purpose
gonna
does
open
not
this.
expire. I'm sorry, doctor. Purpose does not expire.
Okay, it does not have an end date, right?
Yes, yes.
So stop calling it to end and call it to set up. It's set up. What's next? So you got to resurrect. So let's talk about how do you do that before we get into some steps. All you scary cats out there, come on, talk to us. We want to hear from you. We want to hear about your dreams. Are you living your dreams? Is it on pause? If so, why? A lot of people looking at the economy, well, I'm not doing this because ain't nobody buying. Are you buying? You don't know, folks. You just have to. My dad used to always say, nothing beats a fail but a try. Mm-hmm. Nothing beats a fail but a try. Okay, they don't want to talk to us today, Miss Gloria, so let's keep going.
Yeah, can I ask something?
Yes.
Yeah, so lately what has been happening with me is that if I start to think what is my dream or what is my dream for the future, I find that I don't really, maybe I've stopped dreaming. Maybe I don't even know what my dreams for the future are anymore, except for my grandchildren or except for everybody else. So what happens with that?
Go ahead, Doctor.
Sometime at a very early age, you have to look back. I want you to start really tracing back. That's Soraya. I want you to start looking back at when you were younger and look at the things that you got so much joy out of, the things that you wanted to do. Because sometimes people can beat your dreams out of you. See, I was a talker all of my life, and I knew that I'm supposed to be talking, sharing, teaching. Well, my dad used to offer me, that was back in the day, and that was big money. I would give you $5 if you can be quiet for 5 minutes. I never got the money. My sister would hit me across the head. We could get that money and go to the store. But then did he know? He didn't know I would grow up and speak and talk all over the world. So sometimes the thing that you want to do is beaten out of you. I had a nephew who wanted to play the piano, but they thought it was sissified. You don't want to play the piano. That's for girls. So I want you to go back and vision what you found joy in as a little girl. Because what we come here to do shows up at an early age. It really does. But if we don't see somebody else doing it, we think, well, that nobody else is doing it. That's what stops a lot of us.
Doctor, we have a similar story because I used to talk a lot too when I was younger, and they used to call me radio. And so I got tired of them, talking about me, so I stopped talking. I had stopped talking for a while until I resurrect my voice.
Right, and that's what you're supposed to do. So, Soraya, did that answer your question? Because you really going to have to tune into that. See, when you don't find your own purpose, you'll find yourself being used by everybody and doing for everybody but you. You say, what I'm going to do is for my husband, for my kids, for the church. You begin to be a busybody. But that inner you is never being really satisfied to the highest. Is that resonating?
Does that resonate?
Thank you.
Yes,
it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
There's a page in my book. It allows you to write down your gifts and talents. Because we need to look at ourselves. And it starts off, let's look at you. What are your gifts and what are your talents? And the more that you do that, you start really seeing exactly who you are. And also, too, it's good to write down your bio. The more that I had, since I wrote this book and I really had to dig into all the things that I've done, I was like, oh my God, I forgot all about these things that I have done. And through that, God has blessed me that during Memorial Day weekend, I am receiving an honorary doctorate from Meridian Christian University in entrepreneurship. And at one point, I thought I didn't deserve it until I started looking at all the things I've done. I'm like, what did I do to deserve this? Okay.
So you should have got it a long time ago. You guys, let me introduce my co-host. She has joined us, Dr. Andre Anthony. Dr. Anthony, Chime in. You're my co-host, so take it away. Take it away, dreamers. Dr. Andre, how are you?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning,
Okay.
everyone.
That's my co-host.
Hi.
I'm moving and shaking this morning, but I'm so happy to be on. And just as I joined the conversation, one of the things that came to my mind was when I was a little girl, I knew that I wanted to be a teacher in some capacity. I wanted my own child care center, wanted to be a teacher, and the adults around me was trying to talk me out of it. Oh no, teachers don't make any money, and that was like years, decades ago. Teachers don't make any money. You're not going, you need to get your MBA. You need to do this. And I just remember growing up, being around adults, listening to them complain about their jobs, how they hated Mondays to come. Oh, I got to go back to that job. Oh, this and that. And I just decided at an early age that I'm going to do what I want to do.
Okay.
I want to wake up and I want to go to a job every day that I'm going to love. And I got my degree in elementary education, and I have been an educator my entire life and enjoyed it. No, it didn't pay a lot of money, but I made it work. I survived. I kept a roof over my head, raised my daughter, and I just knew that's what I wanted to do. But there's many more dreams. I wanted to be an author. Talked about that for years. Every year, Black Writers on Tour, I would tell Dr. Rosie, next year I'm going to have my book and I'm going to be here. Then the next year would come. Okay, next year I'm going to have my book. It was probably 3 years, and I finally met that goal, reached that goal, and became an author. And so I'm really happy about that. And I think it's important to have people around you that support your dreams, that will speak into your dreams. If you find yourself being around people who are negative and try to discourage you, I recommend you run fast from those people.
Put your track shoes on, huh?
Yes. Run. Don't look back. Don't pass go. Don't even worry about collecting the $200. Just keep going.
I love that. Love that.
Yes. So congratulations to our author that's on here and speaker for just following your dreams and encouraging the other people to do the same. We need that. We need that for our young people. They need to hear from us and encourage them starting very young when they're children. Let's just keep inspiring them and speaking into their lives. So that's all I have to say for now.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
It
Yay.
is, yeah. And start
God.
watching. Start watching your kids. Pay attention. I'm telling you, they show you. I remember my son, he's a great organist and songster. I mean, at a very early age, how he would just be playing. My grandson, at about, he wasn't even 2. He would beating on us. That boy needs some drums or something. He's 21 now, great drummer in Bakersfield. Very much in demand, but he was doing that. Watch and see what they're doing when they are little. And if they tell you, oh, I like cooking, the first thing the parents going, you don't want to be no cook. Because we want some kids to be something that other folks think is prestigious. That's what we got to really look at. If you like doing yards, being a gardener, folks ain't nothing wrong with doing what you love doing. Somebody have to do it. Some people are connected with the earth. So dealing with something in the groundwork, what gives them a good feeling and satisfaction. But we're always looking at what looks good. Wow. Dr. Andre, that was so on the money because people do. Teachers don't pay money. Wow. Who said that? That was you can be a teacher and do other things and make money still. Do what you love doing. AI Chick, what you got to say, Brenda? You guys are quiet today. Okay. Mr. Williams, you want to jump in? He's trying to unmute, I think. Okay, Mr. Williams, what you got to say?
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. I've known Dr. Rosie for maybe about 5 or 6 years. I really don't know how long I've been knowing her, but she's been very instrumental in my life because we share quite a few things. She's from the country and I'm from the country. Although we live in LA, we still have our country beings inside of us. So that's what we share. I have a nonprofit organization called The Father Forever. I was blessed to have a father for over 70 years. But I grew up knowing a lot of my friends didn't have fathers, and I went into the military. Then I traveled and ended up in California, and I ended up working for a job that I hated. I was there for 20 years, and 18 years I was miserable because I had to deal with racism, sexism, because I'm one of them kind of guys that if something is purple, don't tell me that it's blue. And that always I wouldn't say created problems for me, but it did create problems for me because I wasn't the right kind, if you know what I mean by that. So I quit my job with 20 years, then retired, quit because I put myself in harm's way because I was going to do some damage to people. I'm a very peaceful person, but like you put anybody in a corner, you got to come out of that corner. And I was about to take it out on someone that would have been detrimental to me and my family. My parents were still living, my grandparents were still living, so I had to make a decision. So I've always had an affinity for children, being a baseball coach, a basketball coach, a soccer coach. So I quit that job and I became a school teacher. At 50 years old, I was teaching first graders, which was such rewarding. I mean, the kids, being a black male teacher, I'm kind of old school, as you can see. I got all this gray hair. I would go to school every day with a shirt and tie on.
So that was living your dreams, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because I love kids. I love the innocence of children because I grew up with some guys who grew up without a father, and they were misdirected and either was incarcerated or I'm from the East Coast, by the way, incarcerated or put themselves in bad situations where if they had the direction of a father, a loving father, things would have turned out different for them. So ended up teaching. Then I founded my organization called The Father Forever. And in 2004, the creator of this universe, told me that I needed to make a cross-country tour to bring out more awareness of fatherhood, the value of fatherhood, the need for fatherhood, for these fathers to be the men that they're supposed to be, the fathers are supposed to be. So I took a 76-day trip from the Santa Monica Pier to the White House on a bicycle. And I said, man, I can't wait till I get back home and write this book. And here we are 22 years later, I still haven't written this book. And Dr. Rosie's been telling me time after time after time again, use AI if you need that help and get this book written because people need to hear my story. But, in this thing called life, there's so many distractions. And
that's one of the dream killers right there.
Oh my
that's
goodness.
One of the dream killers. Distraction. But now the joy which I'm feeling from you, that even though you had these jobs and were making money, it took care of your family, but that deep down joy, if are you getting this too, Gloria, is you doing something you may not even be getting paid for.
Mm-hmm. And
that's what purpose is about. But you got a roof over your head. Okay, you're eating every day. So.
Oh yeah, I'm blessed. Matter of fact, 2 years ago, I wrote 7 short children's books, for like elementary school kids uh, of they have a father flavor to it,
Mm-hmm.
And like the other sister talked about promising Dr. Rosie, I was going to get to that black tour that she has, Black Writers Tour.
Yeah, you're going to be on that floor this year,
I
huh?
will be there this year. Yeah.
Praise God. I look forward to meeting you. I'll be there too.
Yeah. So like now, I'm still working on my nonprofit and such a struggle because as me and Dr. Rosie talked a number of times, good help is very hard to get. It seemed like
But you got to do it. You'll never be happy unless you do.
Absolutely. I
Even when
agree.
you say you're not going to do it anymore, it's something wakes you up at night and reminds you of why you were doing it in the first place, right, Gloria?
That's right. And the passion and being happy. And it's like, I hear that a lot of people, it's like, oh, I've been doing this for years, but I have not been happy. And it's like, wait a minute, God wants us to be happy. Let me evaluate what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not doing the right thing because I am not happy. And we want to be happy. We want to be passionate. And a lot of times people say, hey, do the things that, would you do it if you wouldn't get paid? That kind of gives you an idea is if I'm going in the right direction, that God has for me. Now it's interesting. Mine's the opposite because I thought, and along with Dr. Andrea, I thought I was going to do childcare. I even went to Pasadena City College. I studied. I'm like, I'm going to open up a daycare. But part of it was because people was telling me that my family's like, you don't like children. I thought, let me prove I like children. And then after I went to college, I'm like, oh, in my internship, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do no daycare. I'm doing stuff because trying to prove something to somebody else. So, well, praise God.
And life is about proving to yourself.
Yes.
Proving to yourself. I'm telling you, at the age of 80, I can tell you all, it's nothing like doing you. When you hear people say, doing you, that's where your joy comes from. It's not always about money. When you're on a job, I'm telling you that you hate every day, maybe you're not supposed to be there. Maybe it's something else you're supposed to be doing, but then your family wants you to be on that job because you have a title. Folks, if I can't say anything else today, do you. Don't be a people pleaser because people love. There are folks who like to be around people who are prestigious just to say, that's my friend. I ate at her house. You are just as important as anybody that have walked this planet. So do you. When we can get more people into their dreams and into their goals, you guys, that's when we're going to have a happy society. Because we deal with a bunch of mad, angry people, unhappy people. That's why they're cutting in front of you, or you cut in the front of them, and they're trying to get back in there. That's somebody who's unhappy. You won't find people like me doing that. Oh, well, so you cut in front of me. Let me slow down. I mean, it's so peaceful, folks. I'm telling you, it's so peaceful when you're doing the thing that you enjoy. So don't get caught up, well, I can't quit this job because it's paying the bills. There's other things that can help you pay the bills.
And that's the key, not looking at what other people are doing. Look in the mirror. Look at what you should be doing and focus on that. Because a lot of times people think that, they're prestige, but you don't always know the story that's behind it. You just looking at all the good stuff and not really realizing, what's behind it. And some people wondering why I never have anything. I was like, well, maybe number one, you're not evaluating your finances. You're not working on your debt. You're not working on your credit. You can have a home. You can have this if you put things in this perspective. And so I know some of the practical steps that I talk about in my book, How to Revive Your Dream. Name what buried it. Why is that dream buried? Identify it. And then also, too, seek help in what have hurt you. A lot of times people have hurt us. Being a survivor of domestic violence, it's so important to get healed, because a lot of
Yeah.
times we just keep putting the dirt on the dream, or we keep trying to do something and fulfill a dream, and we're still hurting, and we're not really getting that professional help that we may need. Reconnect with your own identity. And the thing is, write the vision down. I can show you vision boards that I put together back in 2014 that have come now, which was part of my travel business. And I didn't realize it. God was telling me to get a passport, and this was before 2020. So I'm like, a passport? I ain't got no money. I started looking at what I don't have. I had to I said, wait a minute, my God is a big God, Let me get out of myself and look at the source. And that's what we have to do a lot of times. Don't look at where you are. Focus on the source. And it's about faith. My book talks a lot. You got to be intentional about your faith. It is it is a faith walk, and faith without works is what?
Dead. Very.
Yes.
Very. So many people, Gloria, talk themselves out of being what they need to be. They find reason why they can't. I challenge you to find reason why you can. Let's look for reason why you can. Whatever you want to do in life. People say that all the time. People, that's not true. You can't be whatever you want to be. But you can find your joy and find your happiness. It is too much for somebody to work 40 hours a week and spending most of your life on a job that you hate going to. That beats down your immune system. That can be a part of your high blood pressure, part of your cancer,
stress.
part of can you imagine? That's every day you get out of your car, you lock it in the parking lot, and you go, dang, I got to go to the job again. And there you 40 hours a week. Folks, you were meant to be happy. You were meant to have joy. And if it's not there, I think it's time to ask yourself what stands in the way, because you cannot radiate joy and peace to others if you don't have it. Because there are people that I don't care to be around, and I make sure that I'm not around. You have choice. I hear people, well, I just don't want to be around. Don't be around them. It's time to choose and select the people that empowers you mentally. It really is. And the one so that's one of the things when you start resurrecting, you may have to change your whole environment. Is that right, Gloria?
Oh yeah, you're right about that. And
you have to find new friends.
I've been trying to, find my smaller body in the grave. Okay, I'm trying to dig out. And so recently I heard a message about Instacart, and I looked at my phone. I said, okay, I deleted Instacart and I deleted Uber Eats, because I had to start identifying the things that were hindering my goal, my weight loss goal. And I started identifying those things. I said, wait a minute, because let me get rid of it, because that means if I go to the store, I'm going to walk. Okay. So I got to be intentional. And I started identifying those things that were hindering my dreams, because I got that dream and I got some more dreams I'm working on as well. We should keep dreaming.
But environment is really important, isn't it? Who you associate with, who you're around. That's like a person, alcoholic. Why are you going to hang around people who are drinking? When you are trying to, your goal is to get yourself together so you can live your purpose. So we have to disconnect sometimes from families, for friends, because it's about you, for your own personal healing. Then you can go back whole. Don't think you're so strong that you can be around people who make you fall back into the ditch.
Brenda, that's so true. I got a life coach who's starting to help me with my weight loss. If I see a commercial with food on it, I close my eyes or I change the channel. Same thing with social media. So like you were talking about, changing our environment.
You really have to do that.
Yeah.
I want to hear from Brenda. Brenda always has comments, and I really want to know what's on her mind today. So we got about 6 minutes left. Brenda, let me hear from you because you always have such sound advice when she come in on the show. Because I just want people to walk away today with a new vision. Okay, Brenda, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Very interesting topic. Dreams are so important. Right now, I find myself in the middle of a dream. Something that I put on hold because I was working and making a living. And I've been retired now for 2 years. And my goal was to be a real help for my family. And that is what I'm finding myself doing right now. My mother has been diagnosed with breast cancer. So I just am so grateful that I'm in a position right now that God has freed me up where I'm able to get her to the many, many doctor's appointments that she goes to, the oncologist, the radiologist. And I'm just so grateful that God provided a way for me to do what I love to do because I'm a nurturer at heart. I have a compassion for older people. That's been my passion since I was very, very young. I always had a love for older people. And I don't know where it came from, but I just like to be a help for people who may not be in the position to do the things that they once were able to do. To be able to make sure that they're able to do some of the things they like to do and just be an assistant. So I'm in the middle of my dream.
Wow. See, your dream is really being a helper. You get satisfaction out of helping people, and you were able to retire and to do the thing that you love. It's nothing like having that type of satisfaction, folks. It's better than ice cream. It's better than a whole lot of things we can name. Joy is what we all need to seek for. But I really want everyone on here to go back and visualize yourself when you was a little girl or a little boy. Think about the thing that you really loved doing. And think about the reason you stopped liking the things that you really love. You guys write this down. I want you to think about what made you stop liking what you used to love. That's a big thing to think about, isn't it, Gloria?
It is.
That might be that thing that's going to take you where you need to be in this here life. Go back and think hard. Soraya, think about what you wanted to do. Think about how you felt when you did certain things, folks. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. Gloria, go ahead and give us some closeout.
Sure. Thank you. And again, thank you, Doctor, and all your co-hosts for allowing me to be here. Your story is not over. Remember that your story is not over. Your dream is not dead. It's not dead. It's planted. And so now you got to water it. You got to water it, and you got to get rid of the people that maybe need to get rid of, work on the things that you need to work on, finding out, writing your vision down, looking at your gifts and talents, looking at, thinking about those things from childhood that Doctor was talking about. And then also, too, now is the time. Now is the time. We ain't got no time, no waste.
Yeah.
Now is the time to believe again, to rise again, and move again. And I just want you to remember that no dream is buried too deep that God cannot revive.
Wow. And remember, you're not too old. In this country, we don't value. That's why at Black Writers on Tour this year, Gloria, we're honoring 3 writers. We call Let the Elders Speak. They're all over 90. They are 90 plus writers. We're going to honor them. And it's so important for people to do what they want to do. They find it doing this book. They're not saying, well, this is a book, I'm going on Oprah show, but they wanted to write a book that wanted to leave some words, some knowledge. And they did it. In their 90s, they did it. Yes, I have a sister that's 93. She just finished her third book, and she said, I think I'm going to try to squeeze one more out. I like, she birthing a baby. I'm going to try to squeeze one more out. But this last one is really one that we'll suggest that every family member read, because she gives the whole story of the family, how we arrive, why we think the way we do, why we all have chose entrepreneurship, why we all do certain things. In other words, she has connected with us with who we are and what we do and how we do it. So the next generation come up saying, well, we have to do it this way, because we all say, well, after all, I'm a hunter. That's my father's last name. So we tie into that legacy. What you mean you can't do this? You're a hunter. Okay? So folks, connect into your history, pass it down, tell the story. You can't tell it to the kids in Mississippi if you're here, but you sure write it. You can speak to people all over the world when you write it down. So I want to thank you, Gloria. I can't wait to see you at Black Writers on Tour. We're going to really have a great, you guys. It's going down this Saturday. About 4 days left at the Carson Event Center, 801 East Carson Street in Carson. Parking and admission is free. You're going to meet authors and business owners from across the country. We're going to bring the AI magic in the house. So you guys, you don't want to miss it. And those of you who joined us today, I want to say, continue your journey, pick up your dream, dust it off. You're not too old. You're not too tall. You're not too short. You're not too black. You're just not too anything. You are just too good. So do what you got to do. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day as you go on your way. Again, I want to say ta-ta to my guests. Y'all don't know what ta-ta is. That's a country way of saying
thank you.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you. So you guys have a great day. As we get up out of here, thank you, AI Chick, for joining us. She didn't jump in. I really want to hear from Miss Tiffany, you guys. She is truly the AI Chick. She's going to be on that floor. She's going to be bringing in basic AI, where you can use it for personal and for your business. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Rosie.
Thank you.